how's it going guys? Welcome to another video. This time we decided to do something a little bit different. We are going to talk a little bit about the process that we go through when planning an overlanding expedition. There's a lot of steps that you need to follow and in a certain order. And we are gonna try to cover that in this video, make it a little bit easier for you guys when it comes time to prepare your own expeditions. And since we're planning our next one, which will be in less than a month from now, it will be great for you guys to come along and follow the process. If you were paying attention, we did a little bit of a teaser in the beginning. You may have been able to figure out where we are going. If you haven't, stay tuned until the end of the video. We are gonna announce the whole thing in detail. But in the meantime, let's begin with this video with step number 1, which is where to go on an expedition. So the first step is deciding where you want to go. The world has a lot of places to explore, and deciding on where to go may be something hard. Where we get our inspiration from is mainly YouTube videos, Facebook groups, and Instagram. In social media nowadays, you have plenty of content creators and travelers that travel all over the world using anything from motorcycles, 4x4s, even on foot or by plane. And watching YouTube is a great way to, also on Instagram. It's very easy to follow the kind of content creators that you like the most. And when you are bored, when you don't have anything else to do, just scroll down your feed and you will find pictures of people all over the world that for sure will get you on and give you inspiration for the next trip. So number 2, once you have your destination figured out, you need to think about how much time you have for that expedition. One thing you need to consider is the commute from your hometown or for wherever you're based to the actual destination. For example, when we went to the Pyrenees 2 years ago, or actually 3 years ago, it was about a 1,000 kilometer journey from Door to where we started the expedition. So figure out how much time you have and count on the commute, subtract 1 day for the return and 1 day for the day you're getting there, and then you will have the time left for you to explore. While you're thinking about how much time you have left, also consider the time of the year you want to go through. Again, in the Pyrenees, if you guys watch the series, we were unable to get to many different places because of the snow. So think about these pros and cons, and again, in Facebook groups, you will also get a lot of valuable information. In Morocco also, we went during the Ramadan, which was not a big problem, but the fact is many supermarkets are closed, many restaurants are closed, food is not sold easily and readily all the time, so just something for you guys to consider. So number 3, after having the destination and how much time you have, search a little bit about points of interest in the country or areas that you guys are visiting, just to have an idea of what you would like to see. You will start compiling a list of points of interest, of cool landscapes and everything that you can later connect the dots and plan your itinerary. In Morocco, for example, we knew we wanted to drive through the Todra Gorges, we knew we wanted to visit Gare Medouar, the Portuguese prison, Merzouga, the dunes, and so on and so forth. So start laying out the points of interest that you want to drive through, and that will give you a base idea and reference for the next step, which is the itinerary itself. So number 4, the itinerary. Once you have the dots laid down, it's very simple. All you have to do is connect them. But how do you want to connect them? Well, if you don't have a 4x4 or if you're okay with just doing pavement, Google Maps is more than enough for that. Since we like overlanding, we like to explore, we like to do off-road tracks and all. And the fact of the matter is, there are some very remote areas of the globe where Google Maps is not even available, or there is not a paved road to go there, and you have to get an off-road navigation software and just follow the track. For that, there are some very good sources of inspiration. The one we use the most, and I highly recommend if you guys are into overlanding here in Europe or anywhere in the world for that matter, and that is Wikiloc. Wikiloc is a free software, well, more like a community. There is a paid version which we do subscribe because it really does add a couple benefits, and it's really cheap. I mean, we're paying like 10 euros per year, so that's less than €1 per month. And you can find off-road tracks that a lot of other drivers have driven and just import them all into your computer. Also, another very good source for tracks is books. When we were in Morocco, we purchased a very cool book called Morocco Overlander, if I'm not mistaken, and there you can find a lot of different tracks. Books are also a great way to find inspiration. And forums. If you are a guy who likes to, explore the internet, there's a lot of Facebook groups, internet forums, and just people are very, very helpful. You just type in where you want to go, ask for suggestions, and more likely than not, somebody is gonna come up and share their GPX files with you, because in these communities, in the overlanding communities, everybody wants the next one to have a good time, so yeah, take advantage of that. So, after having your itinerary planned, one thing you need to consider is where you are gonna sleep. We try to do a kind of hybrid regime where we wild camp for 3 or 4 nights and then spend the 5th night at a little bit more built campsite or hotel or something like that. It's for recharging all the electronics to full percent. I mean, you can charge them on the go, of course, but it's just that mid-trip top-off that really comes in handy ever. So, one very cool place for both wild camping spots as well as actual hotels and everything, or campsites, is iOverlander. iOverlander is an app. It's free to download. It's also a user-based submitted platform where people wild camp somewhere and they just drop off a point of interest there and say, hey, I slept here. It's good for 3 or 4 vehicles. It's under the shade. Nobody came to mess with us or anything. And also formal campsites. So if there's water, if there's electricity, how much they paid per night, per person. So iOverlander is really a great source of inspiration as well, and I really do recommend you guys downloading it for yourselves. Now, number 5, what gear to take. So when you have all of this planned, it really comes time to figure out what gear you need to take. If you're going somewhere remote, like we did in Morocco, or like this next one that we are gonna go to, fuel jerry cans is a must. We use the Giant Loop Armadillo bag, if that's the name. It's a malleable jerry can that holds 20 liters, and you can fold it up when it's not in use, store it away, and when you need it, just fill it up and it will be good to go. Depending on what type of trip you are going to and the availability of fuel in those areas, fuel jerry can is definitely a must. Also water. How far is it from supermarket to supermarket, or from the last place you are able to get water to the next? Or is water even available? Will you have to filtrate water? For that, you will need a water filtration system. And that's something you need to consider and carry enough water for that. How about medical services? Are they scarce? Are they really hard to get? Will you be able to connect with someone to give you a hand, or to let your family back home know you're okay or you're not okay? A satellite phone, for example, may be a good option if you're going somewhere very, very remote without basic services, or a GPS tracker. Guys, number 6, documents. So whenever you're crossing borders, there are some documents that you cannot go without. These are passports, visas, car documents, insurance, all of these things. You need to make sure that you carry your own, that everybody carries their own if you're the responsible for the expedition, and also for the vehicles. Some insurances are extendable to other areas of the globe, some are not. Sometimes we'll have to subscribe to a new insurance in the country you are visiting. So definitely inform yourself about this. Again, Facebook groups are a wonderful place to find this stuff out. You just go there, type your questions, and in a couple of minutes people will be there answering it and clarifying your doubts. So definitely make use of it. One very nice tip that we do and that I recommend you guys doing is always carrying an extra copy of each document. So for example, we always carry our own original passports, but I just keep a folder with everybody's documents printed on them, passport, car documents, insurance, border crossing authorizations or anything. It's just a very reassuring thing to have if you happen to lose one of the originals. The copy is not going to be official, so police officers are not going to take it as an original, but it will still be a representation of something. If you need to get the passport number, for example, it will be there for you, and we really do recommend that. So guys, this pretty much sums up the list of steps that we had planned to share with you guys. I think that if you follow from number 1 to number 6, you will be pretty much good to go on your whatever expedition you have. The topics we mentioned are a little bit broad because no part of the globe is the same as the other, so you guys will need to do your own research. Some very cool bonus tips that I would like to leave you guys with are, if you're traveling with more than one vehicle, keep a spare car key in the opposite vehicle. So when we went to Morocco, we had a spare Duster key in the Jeep Wrangler and a spare Wrangler key in the Duster. This is just so that if for some reason you happen to lose your car keys, you will be able to get the spare one from the other car, as opposed to if you had the spare car key inside the car and then you lost the car to it, so you couldn't access the spare key. Also, always try to carry local currency in cash, somewhere hidden but at the same time accessible, and not in huge amounts. So in Morocco, for example, we had to bribe, or well, we didn't have to bribe, but he was asking for a bribery, and had we opened the wallet full of cash, that would probably have not been very good for us because he would want it all. Had we not have any cash, maybe things could escalate because he wasn't getting what he wanted. What pretty much saved us was that I only had about 100 dirhams, which equals to about 10 euros in my pocket, and then I had more spread around the car. And when he was asking for it, I tried to negotiate it down, and then last resort, I just pulled the 100 out of my pocket, and he said, okay, I'll take it, and we drove off. Also, try to learn a little bit of the local language. Words like good morning, hello, how are you? Those are great words to know, because more often than not, you will come across people who don't speak English, they only speak their native language, and it's just very nice. People feel like you are putting some effort into integrating in their culture, and they will thank you for that. And you will notice people will be much nicer to you if you approach them saying hello, good morning in their native language than in English. This is something we compiled from our previous experiences and from all the research that we have done preparing for these expeditions. As I mentioned in the beginning, and from the little teaser, you guys probably figured out where we are going. We are gonna go back to Africa. We are gonna take a plane to Johannesburg. We are gonna rent a kitted out 4x4 there, and we're gonna drive through South Africa and Mozambique, the Kruger area, the coastal Mozambique. We're gonna see a lot of wildlife. We're gonna do a true beach to bush type of adventure, which I think is well, it's at least something that I've always wanted to do. So guys, I hope you're as excited for this new series as we are. These next weeks, we are gonna prepare everything. We are gonna fly to Johannesburg, and when I arrive there, I'm planning on showing you guys around the vehicle that we have, what gear it already includes, and what gear we are taking with us to complete the whole build. If you guys have any questions or suggestions, if you're from South Africa, from Mozambique, if you have ever been there and you have some nice recommendations that you think will benefit our expedition, please leave a comment below, subscribe, like, share with your friends. This whole YouTube thing is really growing on us. We enjoy more doing this kind of content by the day, and hopefully you guys are liking it as much as we do. So guys, until next time, thank you very much. Stay tuned for the news. Follow us on Instagram. We post a lot more content there just because it's much easier than here on YouTube. And yeah, see you guys in 2 weeks, hopefully already in South Africa.